Asia 21, I would say, is a global family of dreamers and thinkers.
Very diverse individuals who are individually quite accomplished.
People that when you meet them, you get inspired by them.
Incredibly smart, but incredibly humble people.
That are working on some of the most pressing issues in their respective countries.
Who have a common heartbeat about making this world a better place, not just by their own strength and their talents, but by the ability to work together.
The reason why Asia Society started Asia 21 Young Leaders Initiative is because Asia Society had a long-standing record of working with senior leaders. And our leadership saw there was no comparable platform or a network that brought together younger leaders from across the Asia-Pacific region representing different sectors. This initiative was started because of that, to fill that gap. The high point of the network is the annual summit, which brings together a little over 100 young leaders from across the network. And it provides this catalytic platform where they can come together, form lasting friendships, learn from each other, and collaborate to address our shared challenges.
Welcome to Melbourne, and as we say in Australia, g'day. You are the 2017 class of the Asia Society Asia 21, and for that, we absolutely welcome and congratulate you to this very important three-day event.
Why are we here? We're here because we're a collaborative community that trusts each other. We're family. And the first thing we need to do is, as a community, find out who needs what and how do we help each other.
People come not just for themselves, but people come to talk about what they can do together to make our world a better place.
Politicians across the board tend to talk more and less concrete action on ground. And I think in countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan, we need to have that translate into more on-ground action.
It makes for people to understand where people are coming from, understand their challenges, understand their problems, and understand their victories.
When I started off playing cricket, it was just like I loved the game. And once I started playing it, I just realized it's bigger than just a sport. It's a tool through which we can change the society.
My leadership education is being updated every time, and every year I come to the annual summit. And I try to go back home and implement some of this at work. That's how I look at it.
I suppose if you can think about the summit as the place where sparks fly, where new ideas are surfaced, where knowledge is shared, new connections are formed, the Action Lab is one of the ways in which those sparks and connections can be expressed and deepened. So the Action Lab grew quite organically out of really feeling compelled to explore how organisations that were started by individuals in the network could better tap the resources in the network.
They meet in between the summits, and the others in the network will come in and play the role of a consultant. Because many times when you're doing the same thing over and over, you don't see how you might be able to do it differently. Action Lab, with all the different mentors that are very active in this, they can come, dissect and bisect your work, and then they give them a pathway forward.
And what's really came out of it was even within a short time after the first Action Lab retreat in Kathmandu, we noticed that there was a step change in the way those founders were approaching their organizations, and some of them have really gone on to scale up what they're doing in a very, very serious way.
This is the 13th year of this initiative. And now the mayor of LA is an Asia 21 Young Leader. Ambassador of Afghanistan to Australia is an Asia 21 Young Leader. They are ministers, Oscar winners, social activists, and I can go on and on. These are all Asia 21 Young Leaders. They're all part of this network.
They are the leaders that are ready to change the world.
It's not just about the diversity, but it's also the authenticity of the people that they have selected as Asia 21 leaders. We are able to connect as a fellow human being and not just, certain social status or certain achievements. So I found that to be very valuable and something that I come back for every time.
Often the people who are in this network, what we're doing, we often find ourselves a lone voice in a room full of people that have a particular way of thinking that perhaps is not really adapted to the future sustainability of the planet or the future cohesion of a globalized society. And I suppose what I have found is that I can always go to this network to refresh my source of energy for that vision.
And as they get more prominent in their work, in their stature, our hope is that they can leverage, they can draw on this relationship that they have built on for over the years to solve the shared problems we face right now in Asia and across the world.